Monday morning. I am in the office. So, the weekend, just to give you a quick update on that, I have been doing lots of recruitment talking at the moment. So, I spent a lot of my weekend speaking to potential people to come work with us, podiatrists, physios. So, hoping that turns into more conversions of practitioners into staff members. It's funny, like we get loads of applicants and I speak to a lot of people, but speaking to them and trying to identify what it is that they seek, what they want, is not always aligned with what we're seeking. I'll give you an example. We did an interview with someone and they said they were willing to do 4 days a week with us, which was fantastic. We were like, right, that'd be great. And then when it comes to the job being offered to them, they changed their criteria to saying, well, actually, they only want to do 2 evenings now from 5 till 8. And on reflection, when I thought about it, I was like, it's barely worth them coming in because we would get them busy as such. But in terms of quality of care that we can offer to our patients with the speed in which they can be seen, the flexibility that they have, it just wasn't going to work from a business perspective. So we didn't move forward with that. But we have multiple situations of that which occur where we do a lot of interviews and we don't offer the job out to everyone. We did one the other week. We interviewed 5 people. And we didn't offer the job to any of them. It's just that the standards that they were showing within them interviews weren't particularly high enough. But we've also had other situations where we've offered the job out to 5 other people and they haven't accepted it because they were offered something else which aligned more with what they're looking for. So I'm constantly learning and evolving the way that we do our interview practice, and I'm not going to change what we do because the standards are there for a reason. But yeah, that's one thing. So that happened on the weekend. Right now, I have got a visit to do. I am investing into property. It's on the side of what I do here with the physio stuff. And what I did is I actually remortgaged the house that I have, or we have, to use that money to invest into the property. And the reason why I'm sharing this is because our long-term goal is to have our own clinic spaces, which are where we operate from, and we have multiple different services happening within it. What this is doing, this side business, is teaching me a lot about the whole processes that go through of securing, obtaining, arranging finance, trying to get all the legalities in place for it, where the banks are helpful, where other lenders are helpful as well. So I'm really trying to take that skill set I'm trying to develop there into this business for when we go forwards with the big growth project. I just emailed our accountants at the moment as well about some certain things I need back from them to start organising my bank meetings. So there's a lot of things which are happening, which I'm really pleased I get to do these video things because I get to look back on this and it actually reminds me of the things that we said we're going to do, what we do achieve, and how we grow as a business. Because none of this kind of gets seen behind the scenes, especially when you're in treatment and you're seeing patients. That's a big part of the job from the therapist point of view. But there's so much stuff that goes on in the background which doesn't necessarily always get shared with everyone. So me creating these videos gives me an opportunity to talk to the staff in a very indirect way. And enable myself to be able to share with them rather than having to speak individually with everyone. And then it allows them to judge, are we moving in that direction as we say we are? So yeah, I've got to do that. I'm also just doing some networking stuff. So reaching out to a few people. I've reached out to a few companies who I actually want to try and work with myself. So I've reached out to them. They may or may not come back to me. Also reaching out to some of the consultants that we work with to try and get them on board with more of the CBD programs. They're really, really keen to do it. It's just trying to organise a time for them to come in which fits with everyone else's schedule, their schedule, our schedule, busy times in clinic, non-busy times. And yeah, so we're really, really keen on growing that side of it. So that's what my plan is for today. I'll do some of the filming about where we go to because I've got access to the property that we're going to be converting down in the area where I'm looking at. And you may be interested in it. It's not really directly related to physio, but I'll show you around a bit because that's what my day is looking like today. And I'm just about to do a tiny bit of analysis before I leave. I've got to leave in 15 minutes time. I'm going to do a quick bit of analysis here of how we perform as a clinic before I have one of my meetings later on at 1 o'clock today as well. Today has been a site visit. So we are just about to start on the project, but I went and met the build team today to work out a little bit of a plan of how we're going to approach this. Now, bearing in mind this is all fairly brand new to me at the moment, especially with demolition and a full back to brick strip out, but we're discussing what the logistics are going to be of how they access the garden area and what they're going to start doing on the internal part. Now, we should see with the garden, which is currently looking like this, they're going to strip it all back and eventually we'll lay down some better garden type area, if you want to call that. But importantly, we're going to be stripping everything internally back to brick. Now you can see some of the inside of the property here. It's not in a great state at the moment, but yeah, the plan is to strip it all back to brick, replaster the whole internal area, create all rooms with ensuite. So we're just going through and working out the strategy at the moment, and again, going to keep you updated with how things go with that. Monday evening, day is almost complete. What's the time? It's 7 p.m. I'm just sitting down now to do some admin things with regards to our website and how things are presented on there. It's been on my to-do list for a while, so I've got a bit of free time now, so I'm going to do that. But yeah, you would have seen today I had some time out of the office where I'm looking at a project that I'm doing, and I shared how that is going to contribute to how we grow as a clinic with the acquisition of the units that we use, or the premises that we're going to get at some point in the near future. So yeah, I was talking to the builder, talking to the team, talking to solicitors today as well to try and get things over the line. Really good to know that the management team have brought on another member of staff to help with us with growing, which is fantastic news. We've got a few more interviews coming up this week as well, with hopefully new great additions coming on to join us, which will really help traject us into the next level. And it's good to see that we're starting to piece together clear roles and responsibility amongst the whole team, which will drive us forwards and get us to where we need to be. But that does come with inherent risk. As we bring on more people, our costs go up. And so, yeah, I've got to start looking at what impact that's going to have on us in the short term. It's certainly going to have a risk. We are looking at bringing on therapists, which will help, yes, generate revenue. But with every therapist comes a cost of their time, the other things that we need to do within the business, which covers their costs of using different pieces of equipment and using different pieces of technology. All of them things add to the cost. And again, they're things which we have to factor in because we pay for them regardless of whether they see anyone. And then again, that cost can impact things. So yeah, loads of things to think about here. But soon our staff team is going to be going up to around about 30 in total. And with that comes inherent problems with managing and keeping standards high and making sure everyone's on the same page, making sure they all understand the processes and systems are going to have to change. So many things would just add in another member of staff, which seems straightforward. It seems really easy. I'll bring them on and that will help with growth. Well, that is true if they've got the training and the background and the skill set in order to be able to help with what we need them to do and take on board the information we give them. So yeah, I'm slightly stressed about it. As excited as I am, it does bring with it stress as well. And I'm going away next week. So whether or not they'll be on board in time to start before I actually go on annual leave, it remains to be seen. But yeah, all positive news. I'm going to crack on with this work now. And then tomorrow I've got home visits. So I'll do a little bit of filming throughout the day to show you what is involved in that. Right, Wednesday, we have just finished our weekly meeting with the team. Really good productive talk, looking a lot at different things that we need to do collectively in order to be able to track progress in clinic better than we are at the moment. And my job to try and piece it together to have everyone doing what their role is that we're conscious of new people coming on, and we talk about the culture of what we want to create. And if we bring a new person on and just put them here, the fear is that they will be like, cause it bigger. And once we get bigger sites and we have office space and things like that, it becomes a different game. And so gradually, as I'm seeing more of the problems occurring as we get bigger and bigger. So that will change at some point. But it just comes down to costs at the moment. The plan at the moment is we're reinvesting all of the profit that we got from the last quarter into that'll be Q4. And yeah, so as things stand, we're nowhere near that. And so in our head, we have to start thinking, okay, why are we not there at the moment? What is the difference? Well, it's incrementally increased as time's gone on, but that's because therapists got busier and busier and busier with their numbers, and there was improvements. If you look at their data tracking stuff, their numbers were increasingly going up. We are getting more patients through the door now than we were last time. But I'm looking for growth of clinic. Nah, not enough growth. There's not enough growth there for me to be kind of like excited about. 51 to 53, 52. And this is my fear. We have these. I think they're good ideas what we do, and we do it, and then busy, and then everything drops off, and it's like. But I feel that that's what happens in clinic with a lot of stuff. I have to know why. It just doesn't make sense. It's not. I don't believe that it's luck of the draw of people coming through.
But I think maybe we know that because we work in the area, but if you were to ask a random person, would you go to physio? They'd be like, no, I'm not injured. It's the same with the GP stuff. No one's got to go to the doctors. Well, I have no pain. I'm not ill.
Glad you raised that point. So what's our job then to do? So, because we're on them all the time about, hey, well, we need this, we need this. But you said from the start, cervical, money ain't the thing. I'll go back to teaching. I left teaching because I worked my socks off and never ever got thanked for anything. And I wasn't expecting to be thanked, which I was uncomfortable with. But the second that something went wrong, they were on me. I was like, what about all the other stuff? No, we can't accept this. I was like, you know what, you lot. And that was it. I literally checked out after that meeting. The problem we have is we are so busy with staff, with patients, and we're seeing patients, and what's getting lost a little bit is what our processes need to be in order to provide the best level of care. Now, the fortunate thing is that patients are happy with what they're receiving, but sometimes that could be because they don't actually know what good care looks like. They think they may know what good care looks like, but from a physio perspective, or even from any professional perspective, we know what good care should look like. And what I'm trying to track and monitor all the time is, are we providing that? It's very easy, if I manage just myself, am I doing the things that I should be doing? But when you have a bigger team, it becomes increasingly challenging to make sure that they are delivering on the principles that you value, or what I value, and how we monitor and track that, and also how we deliver the message to them of what we expect. It sounds like I'm rambling a lot here, and I do appreciate that, but I'm trying to get out of my head what I am thinking and how it feels in order to try and grow and scale this business to where I want it to be at. And yeah, with that, the meeting today was a lot based upon how we can better improve what we do with our patients, and how we are able to track that closely and feedback appropriately. Yeah, confusing. But that's one thing. Also got loads of exciting developments happening. Exciting for me anyway. We're increasing the size of our team to help with all of the things we do behind the scenes. And we're just trying to put structure in place at the moment of who is responsible for what. Really fine tune role allocation, so that we can ramp up and improve the service that we provide to our patients, not only from a physio perspective, but also the whole start to finish journey and what that all incorporates. I had a really good meeting yesterday with someone who is considering coming on board to manage our social media, which means you'll see a change in the way that we provide our videos. There will be a huge element, of professionalism, which will come with that, with how we edit them, how we post them, getting more people involved in what we do. The difficulty I have at the moment is I have my role as the owner of the business, trying to drive it forward, trying to innovate with change and strategy and things like that. Then I'm also trying to kind of film all the things that I'm doing, feedback into the camera, then I'm editing it, and it's wild, in terms of how long I'm spending on these things. So if I can get that support on board, I really know what I would do with it to help drive things forward from a business perspective. But with all of these things comes an element of investment. And I was sharing in the team meeting earlier about how much profit we made in the last quarter, and looking at what we're doing from here on and who we're bringing on, we are actually investing more than what our existing profit is. So there's a gamble there in the sense of I'm overspending on people in order to drive the business further forwards. And yeah, that comes with huge risk, creates huge anxiety, that's for sure. But then it's my job to make sure that if we're agreeing to pay these people, that then we make the changes necessary for us to be successful with it and grow and move forwards in the direction I want us to go in. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of pressure happening over the coming weeks, that's for sure. And my hope is that the team that I have in place are all in the right roles to appropriately support, which I'm sure they are. But yeah, that is what I'm trying to manage at the moment. And yeah, I've got a meeting later on where I will be talking with our admin team about the roles and responsibilities I want from them, what information I want reported, so then we can use that strategically to drive that business forwards again. I will update you as it happens, I promise. I'm just about to jump on a Teams call where it's just me as the only attendee. What I do with this is I share with everyone my thoughts on the week of how we're doing, how we're performing. It gives me an opportunity to talk to the staff. We have 4 separate sites, so being able to get them all together at any given time is exceptionally difficult. So I use this as an opportunity just to give my thoughts on where we're at, where we're heading, how we're performing, so they can hear it from me about what do I think looks good, where we can be better, and then clinic managers will then reinforce that within the meetings. But ultimately, it comes down to the staff making sure that they take accountability, ownership, and responsibility for the actions that they perform. So I'm going to share some data with them. I'm going to share what we're leading towards, what we're working towards, some comparisons with national data as well, to really try and educate everyone so that they are fully aware of what those expectations all look like. So I'm gonna jump on it now, and we will follow as we go along, and I'll share snippets of it. I sent a picture today to Gemma of one of the reviews that got left for Rui, which said about how fantastic he was, and then it also mentioned about how the service from start to finish was just outstanding. Then here, reputation outweighs profit at all times. It has to. If we get this the wrong way round, then we will fail miserably. The core focus: bring exceptional healthcare to every person in North London in every service. That will look like developing our 4 clinics into 4 fitness and health hubs with access to a wide range of healthcare services. And the locations that we are aiming for is between 4,000 and 6,000 square foot for each one. That is the genuine target. If we can get to that, it just changes the whole game in how we operate as a business. We will have full-time admin support at each of them clinics. And I want everyone here to be a part of that growth and see it all happen. And I'm confident we'll get there. I truly am. We sit in certain metrics with our revenue side of it, but then there's other metrics within clinic which we really need to work on and improve. If a clinic is averaging fewer than 4 sessions, they are significantly below the industry norm, potentially undertreating. I want us to be the best, and that is through getting exceptional patient outcomes. And I want you to all ask yourself, is that happening with every single patient you see? I was saying in the meeting today, I've started doing home visits, and my diary's full already because we ask for their expectations, i.e. I want to be pain free. We then need to deliver our expectations by saying, right, in order for me to do that, this is what we're going to do. I want us to be the best. I believe that we've got the best people working with us. Okay, so we look at running totals of revenue. And the reason I'm sharing this with you is because it's heavily important so this is the end number, which on paper looks fantastic, and yeah, okay, you could argue it's great that we are generating that level of income. I was saying in the management meeting earlier, with what we're planning on doing with who we're bringing on board to help support and grow the business, the total net profit that was made in the last quarter, we will be investing that and more into the new additions that we're bringing on, and bills rising, all of the growth that we're in, all the money that is generated is getting reinvested in to hopefully make you busier, etc. That's where the pressure of making sure that your stats are super important as well. It's really important that everyone understands the pressures of all of this at the moment and what we're trying to get to and achieve, and that will be the sign of true growth of us as a company. You can see that we are going to end up in the same place where we are at the moment. Everybody needs to understand this to understand why it's so important. You're going to see where money is invested soon. I know that clinic managers are going through with everyone about the different pay progressions. We want that to be a thing for you, but the rewards have to come when we know that we are sustainable as a clinic, or we try and if we can push these numbers, it enables us then to grow the clinic. So we end up with better premises, better facilities. We have Shockwave at every clinic. We have gym equipment at every clinic. We have big units that we operate from with multiple staff in there. So when we think about culture and what we want from that ability to work with people on a bigger basis or more contact points with people, we can create that, but only if everyone plays their part in delivering on here. It's really challenging managing all of this and trying to get the desired outcome, but I need everyone on board with me to help push towards that outcome, which is why we keep talking about it. And I know that the big reason why I'm going through this is in the staff feedback thing. There was mention of like a lot of it's about numbers, and I do understand that. But you have to understand that from a business point, even in NHS, it's about numbers. How quickly can we get them out the building? And us as physios might be going, well, they need more care. Then you've got the manager saying, no, we need to pump them out because we need that bed because we've got a backlog of people, etc., etc. So in any walk of life, when you start to have a wider understanding and picture of it, hopefully you can understand and appreciate the reasoning behind things. So I hope that's kind of helpful to see. If anyone ever has any questions about this, please always ask. There's nothing for me to hide. It's kind of like an open book for me to run this. It's how I would want a business to be run with me on board with it, because that would be the thing. If I can understand it myself, it enables me to then determine how much I want to be a part of it and why I'm there and trying to help. So that's my reason for doing it. There's no other hidden agenda other than to treat people the way that you'd want to be treated is a saying I once heard. So yeah, here I am trying to do that. But yeah, listen, that's it for this week. Thank you as always for all the work and effort that you do. As much I know I'm saying here about these need to improve, but from the staff feedback that the thing that was mentioned about culture made me really happy. That we are creating that type of environment where people are enjoying their work and liking to being a part of it, and I hope that continues. So yeah, I will look forward to seeing you all again very soon. That's the end of my meeting. I try to share as much as I possibly can in the hope that by sharing it, people will understand the why behind what it is that we seek. It's quite good having this private practice measure document that got sent out recently for me to offer some comparisons to the staff. But yeah, my hope is if they know more, then they can understand more. The critique of this is the saying of don't make your problems my problems. And I've got to be careful of imposing my demands onto them. And then they thinking, well, this is not what I signed up for. So I am conscious of that, but I try and think of how I would want to be treated, like I shared in that meeting there, of the more that I know, the more I'm willing to give. And I know that not everyone operates that way, but for me, that's what I want the company culture to be about, that anyone can ask a question, no matter what it is, and we will give them the honest answer. And the beauty of that is that you get to share and they get to see what it is, but there has to be the appreciation and understanding that sometimes that answer they get is not going to be what they want to hear. And so you've got to weigh that up with the fact that they want to know everything or may want to know everything, but then they have to be prepared to know everything. But listen, that for me is the type of place I want to be in, the type of place I want to work, the type of place that motivates me. And I hope that they have that same motivation as a result of it as well. Thursday. This week has been terrible for filming. The reason for it, I think it is because I'm going away on Saturday. I'm away for a week with the family, and I'm trying to cram in all of the work that I probably got to do next week into this week, and that's putting a bit of a dampener on what I'm being able to film. But I am going to give you an update on what is happening. So we have got interviews happening in a barn at the moment for new members to come and join us within our therapy team. So we will hopefully see how they go. We are trying to outsource some work at the moment to external providers to help us with specialities. One of them areas is social media. So we really want to look at getting on an external agency who are experts in this field to help support us in that particular area. We're also looking at doing it from our finance perspective. So there's certain accounting aspects that we want to be able to have the same way we work with accountants who do our end of year one. We want certain accountants to help us with being able to raise more finance, for example. So yeah, having lots of conversations about that to really, really push and drive the business forwards. And like I shared this with the team yesterday, that we looked at our Q1 results. We looked at what our profit was for that period of time. And I will be honest, already that has been reinvested, not literally as in given to anyone, but we've allocated that money towards the next stage of growing this business into what I want this to become. I openly say I want to have 4 massive clinics, 4 big locations, 10 treating rooms, gym space area, multiple services all under that one roof with other additional businesses linked into it. I've got a 10-year plan to get there, so I am determined to get to it. But yeah, it's been very, very difficult actually me providing the filming, hence why we're looking at the social media support to come in and help with that. What I'm about to do now, I've got some documents to sign with a solicitor to send back. I've mentioned before we're looking at getting involved in property as well to add that into the portfolio. So I am just working on something there to just finalise, especially before I go away. And then also I've started doing my home visits, or our home visits, and my diary's already full. I've only done it for 2 weeks and we're already kind of bursting at the seams. So I've got a meeting coming up in middle of April with the rest of the team about their support, how we're going to get that to look, what the model looks like. So I'm super excited about that. It's going to be another thing that we can really, really grow and push. Just need to sort our recruitment out. We are looking for really, really good therapists to come on board and join us and take part in this journey, which I know is going to be a huge success. They're hopefully going to be rewarded really well. But we've got to get the message out there of what we're trying to do and what we're trying to achieve. So yeah, I've got to do that, and then just some other bits and pieces at the moment which I've got to tidy up before going away, because I don't want to be doing emails and things like that. I'm guilty of that in the past, of going away with not everything tied up, and that then leads to these high levels of anxiety when I'm away, because I'm feeling like I need to do work, but I want to go away and not have to worry about work at all and know that everything's taken care of back here. So I'm going to crack on with it. That's why I've been terrible with filming, but I will be better, I promise. Good morning, everyone. It is Friday, 5:15 a.m. It is the day before I go on annual leave and I am in the office. Why am I up at this time? This is the time, especially before I go away, where anxiety levels tend to start creeping up a little bit. I know it sounds silly because I've got people in the business who are really, really capable of managing everything and running everything. And the worries that I have, I reckon that they're just self-inflicted worries, not from any reason that's been given to me, if that makes sense. But nonetheless, it does give me big anxiety before I go away. So what I'd like to do is just make sure I've got everything tied up from my end. I'm about to just go through here, make sure that all the minutes from our meetings are sent out so everyone knows what they're doing, let people know what the expectations are next week. So we have our team meetings, so they'll still continue without me there. And they'll go through the agenda of what we talk about. So the plan is that the business runs exactly as it usually does without me. But yeah, I've got some other things to do as well with my video editing. I've got a review today with one of our therapists. I also have home visits pretty much all day. Got a meeting with our accounts manager as well, just to check in how we're getting on with that, and then make sure that she's all right for next week with what she's doing. So plenty of stuff to be getting on with, and only a short period of time before the day ends.